Hola, good people, and welcome back to We Are the New Normal. I am Sam, and I am happy to have everyone back here today. As you can see, I'm here on this late evening catching the residual light of the sun. It's getting colder, sun's going down sooner. So it kind of caught me off guard. So here we go today. Today I just wanted to talk about kind of the quantum science of depression. And it actually has to do more with just behavior and genetics and DNA overall, but we're going to talk about it as it pertains to depression specifically. So, when we think about who we are, how we act, how our bodies behave, whether it be our predispositions to diseases, like let's say, cancer runs in the family, or diabetes or heart disease runs in the family, depression runs in a family, anything, alopecia, any type of illness or genetic marker that someone's family exhibits is automatically passed down to you. And we all kind of understand that. Two things about that, though, to know that is important. Number one, the most important thing to know is that yes, you may be predisposed, your family has a history of that, but that does not necessarily seal your fate, number one. And number two, we have to understand that it doesn't just come from or affect us on the plane of just a physical illness, and it's affected by how we eat and things like that. On a deeper level, all of what we become stems from the transferring of information through our parents' DNA, but not just the things that we think of, like, predisposition to certain diseases or behaviors or whatever. One of the most important things that we don't realize that passes from generation to generation is trauma, is negative experiences, is the way that your body chemically reacts to these experiences is also passed on generation to generation. For example, I cannot remember the scientist who did the experiment, but the experiment was done on rats or mice. And basically, in a nutshell, what happened was they took one generation of mice, and they would, I think, pump into this little box that they were in the smell of cherry blossoms, I believe. And every time they pumped in the smell of cherry blossoms, they then shocked the rats or the mice. They would do this over a period of time. Then they began to just pump in the smell, and they didn't shock the mice, and they noticed that the mice would obviously anticipate the shock when they smelled the cherry blossoms. Now, this was one generation of rats. So once this first generation, let's say generation A, was the initial generation that was actually shocked, the second generation was not shocked. However, when they pumped in the smell of the cherry blossoms, they noticed that now generation B, the children of those rats who were initially shocked, also reacted exactly the same way. They were anticipating the shock. They were acting afraid of it when they smelled the cherry blossom smell. Now, third generation, same thing. They noticed that when they were exposed to the smell, that they reacted the same way. This is to show that not only are the obvious things passed through DNA, like how we look and our body type and hair color and eye color and things like that, but traumatic experiences and reactions and body chemical reactions are also then programmed into our parents, our grandparents' DNA and passed along. So when we think about depression, a lot of times you may react a certain way and you're not even aware of why you act the way that you act, and you're unaware that this is almost an instinctual or a primal or ingrained reaction that you're having naturally based on this grandmother effect. I believe that's what they were calling it. This could have been something that happened to your mother or your grandmother that your body now has been programmed to react the same way. And so all of these behaviors and chemical reactions in your body can simply be passed on and not even be a development of your external environment. So when we think about depression, it starts as obviously from the generations back, but when the direct effect begins is in the mother's womb. So let's say the mother has a traumatic pregnancy. She's very sick, morning sickness all the time. She can't keep food down. She's having a tough time. It's painful, sleepless nights, whatever. Or it could be that she's not having a good relationship with the child's father. They fight all the time. They argue. She's under a lot of stress. Her body is releasing cortisol and adrenaline in response to having to fend off these constant stresses. The child in the womb is being fed by the mother. It is not just being fed food. It is being fed all of the chemicals in the mother's body. So if the mother is having constant stress in her life, her body is having stress reactions, and those stress reactions cause stress chemicals to be released, and it's therefore transferred to the baby. So the baby starts to develop a knowledge, the body's knowledge of this chemical in its body. Fast forward to let's getting older. So now you're older and you find yourself wondering why, let's say you always react to a certain situation a certain way. It could be always angry. It could always be frightened. It could always be that you shut down. Whatever it is, your body is, since birth, used to these chemicals that are produced in your body when you react a certain way. So let's say if the mother was always angry or the mother was always stressed, your body becomes addicted to the chemicals that the mother's body has given off under that reaction. You begin to then become addicted to that. So you don't even realize why it is that when you have the choice to respond a certain way to a certain situation, you constantly pick this same reaction. It is because your physical body is addicted to the chemicals being released under that situation. Hope that makes sense. So it's like, if, let's say, let's turn it into more of a positive thing. So let's say if your mother laughed a lot, and everything that happened to her, she just laughed hearty, and it released whatever, endorphins into your body. When you get older, let's say you tend to laugh at everything, even things that aren't funny, that you shouldn't just laugh it off. You should actually deal with it. You tend to laugh it off. You laugh it off because your body is addicted to the chemicals that are released in your body when you laugh. So you are addicted to that, and therefore, if your body is addicted to that, it then governs your actions, okay? So to go a little further, in your own behavior, you do that. Now, when you get into relationships with other people, doesn't have to be romantic relationships. Relationships are just a situation that exists between at least two people. Could be parents, could be co-workers, could be friends, could be romantic, it doesn't matter. When you are in these relationships, and let's say you kind of wonder why you constantly attract the same type of people, there's two reasons for that. Number one, just as men are attracted and women are attracted to pheromones which are released in our body. We don't see that, we don't know that, but our body releases pheromones that attract the opposite sex. You don't realize that your chemical makeup attracts someone with a like chemical makeup. So if you are the type of person who, let's say, constantly responds to situations with anger, your body is producing this chemical that comes out when you're angry, you're going to attract someone whose body does the same thing. It's kind of the same thing as law of attraction. You attract people who are on your same plane and on your same level of vibration. But this is kind of on a deeper level that people don't realize, that physically and chemically we also attract people who are like our bodies. So when you find yourself attracting these people over and over again, you gotta have to look at yourself, because as we know, everyone in front of us is simply a mirror of us. And usually it is showing us something that we can't see when we look in the mirror. So it takes someone on the outside standing in front of us to present that to us. So if you constantly are attracting the same type of situations, relationships, people, it is telling you something about yourself. And it may be this chemical makeup that you have, that your body is giving off these chemical signals and attracting people whose body also gives off these same chemical reactions. So you are attracting what you are actually giving off. And lastly, not only do you attract people whose body is similar to your chemical makeup, you will find yourself attracted to situations that allow you to react in a way that will allow your body to release that chemical in your body, because your body is addicted to that chemical. So it may feel weird to feel good, because your body's not used to endorphins, your body's used to adrenaline or cortisol. So you don't realize why you always want to bungee jump, or you don't realize why you enjoy debating, or you don't realize why you're always so confrontational. It's because when you are in those situations, that situation allows your body to react in a way that gives you that drug, that chemical that is released in your body when you have that reaction that your body is addicted to. You put yourself in those situations so that your body can do that. It's like adrenaline junkies. People that are addicted to the rush of the adrenaline have to do crazier and crazier things, but they're always seeking something that will make their body have an adrenaline reaction. It's the same thing when it comes to depression and how we act in certain situations. So it's just something to make you aware that it may not necessarily be all of your thinking. A lot of times we just want to blame depression on not being able to think positively and things like that. It's not always a conscious decision. It's on a cellular level. This is just to bring some awareness to it so that now you can make it a conscious and decision on how you choose to react to certain situations, on how you choose to engage with certain people, on why you do what you do, why you feel drawn to certain things and people, and why it continues to be a cycle. So just be aware that these things could have been passed on from generation to generation, and now it is almost second nature. It's second nature in your body. So when you're aware that this is what's happening to you, at least your awareness allows you to see it and therefore deal with it. A lot of times we are unaware. You're like, I'm thinking positive. I wasn't thinking mad. I should have been mad. And you don't realize why you're angry so much. A lot of things are passed through our DNA that affect us every day on a subconscious level. All right. Just wanted to bring some awareness to that as the light is going away. I do want to drop one gem on you guys, and it just says, it's a quote by John Maynard Smith, and it says, genetics is about how information is stored and shared between generations. Let that melt on your mind. Not everything is due to you not being able to think well. Not everything is due to you not being able to get it together on your own. You are fighting some deeper inner things that are ingrained in your body that you have to also fight. So be aware of that. Be a little nicer to yourself. Be a little easier and kinder on yourself. And just work through how to react differently and how to get your body used to feeling good with the chemicals that are released when you feel good. It takes a little time to get used to, but it's definitely worth it. All right. So thank you everybody for coming to see me today. First video night in the dark second video. But definitely appreciate everyone coming out to see me. My fingers are cold. I'm missing my sunshine and my summer days. It is now officially no, we got a couple days before fall, but it feels like freaking winter. So everyone enjoy your week. Have a wonderful Monday, wonderful full week of learning and knowing and growing and being better. Thanks again for coming to see me. I would love it if you would give me the thumbs up if you like this video. Of course, share it if it helped you, or if you think there's someone else that it could help. And by all means, subscribe so that you'll know every time I drop a video. Thank you, everybody, for coming to see me. And remember, you are good people. Have a good life.